Hello everybody. I know I haven't done one of these in a long time. Been kind of busy with school. But today a friend of mine gave me a couple pots to do arrangements in. This one is a big old giant ceramic urn, and this is a little ceramic one here. And what she wants is this arrangement. I don't know if you can see, the light might be too bright. This one is actually a pumpkin, and it has big bows and a little skull head and a little headstone, styrofoam headstone, and she bought a ton of stuff. There's all kinds of Halloween stems here, some fall branches, more Halloween and greenery. She bought different picks and a little black glittered hand. Here's the skull, and this little strand looks like a grape strand of little skulls. And she bought a bunch of ribbon, and also styrofoam. This is for silks and dries, and I hope I have enough because it's going to take a lot to fill this thing. So what I think I'm going to do is I may fill this one first, since I have two of them, to make sure I have enough. And then on this one, I may pack newspaper around the sides, because this thing is pretty deep, if you can see that or not. So, but I'm going to, I have a ton of glue sticks, and my glue gun is already heating up. And I'm going to pack both of these, fill with styrofoam, and secure them. You want them to be secure where they don't move, otherwise your arrangement will fall apart. So I am going to fill it up, and then I will show you when I'm done how I'm putting this together. Okay, I filled both of these containers with green styrofoam, and then I covered them with moss. Now the styrofoam wasn't completely, I was missing like one brick to do this. You should have got me an extra package, but I may do. I had a few pieces left over. I just chopped it in here and make it to where it doesn't move, and then I put moss around it and tuck it in around the edges. The whole purpose of moss is to hide the foam, basically give yourself a base to work with. Now I'm going to apply this thing. So what we want to do is use some sticks, like popsicle sticks, poke holes, and glue them in here, and then set them in place. So you might want to measure exactly how far in you need them. It's probably in closer, because this is a round hole, and you want to get this back as far as you can. So I'm going to find my popsicle sticks and glue them in, and I'll get back to you in a second. Okay folks, I did not find popsicle sticks, but I did find some shish kebab skewers, and I glued it into the bottom of the headstone here like this. This is upside down. And I pushed them in about an inch or so, and then I glued them in and cut them off a little ways. And I'm going to poke them into the back here. Like as far back as I can get it. Actually, there's no moss there. You might want to test it out to see where you find a brick, because you want it to be solid. Yep, that's starting to be one there. Okay, now I've got some resistance. So that's where it's going. Now I'm going to take and glue back here really good with my glue gun for support. Okay, I got the headstone glued on, and I did put a couple more shish kebab skewers in the back and glued them and taped them on just for extra support. And then I pick and choose. I go through all the stuff and I pick what I want to use, one thing at a time. And I found this hand here, and I think this needs to go like right here in the back. Cool. So you just kind of poke them in and have fun. And next I'm going to, I thought about doing the big bow and then working around it, but I'm going to go ahead and put some of these thingies in it. You need a good pair of wire cutters and cut them off. Poke them in and separate them. And I like to bend things a little bit, maybe not these so much, but branches usually don't grow straight in nature. So bending them a little bit, and take all your labels off. That way there's no white sticking out anywhere. Start in the background and start poking them in. And make sure they get into the moss so it's secure and firm. I go through and I think she's got 3 or 4 of these fern pieces here, which is good. These are good filler. Now you can take and break up these, but usually I will leave the last set. It's a little bit harder to cut off. And I leave, yeah. And go poke those around the edges. Now these things do not poke in through that moss very easy at all, and you can always bend them down once you get them in there. But you may have to separate the moss a little bit to get them in there just right. And you know what I may do? I'm going to save these last few pieces to put in around the big bow. So right now I've got them like this. Kind of matches the hand a little bit. Oh, I've actually got more than that, so. Oh, cool. I've got 3 of these, 3 more of them. So I'm going to keep looking at the picture for one thing. And she's got eucalyptus in here too. And she's got a branch. I think I'm going to use a branch on this other one, so I'm going to save that one since it doesn't get a headstone. So I'm just going to start. She's got black and green in here to use. And I'm not using my steel pick machine because it has, I don't know if it's not closing down on them. So I'm just going to use this because this is how you guys would have to use it. So I'm doing what you guys are doing. And I'm just separating because I know I'm going to put that big bow in here and I'm going to put all this other stuff. So I'm just kind of working around it, just scatter it around. I probably won't even need all that she's got in here. And maybe I should have done the little one first. So it's easier if you have just one that you're trying to do to figure out what you're going where. Now I could have taken this right here, this stem off something and used that as the back support. So remember when you're doing stuff like this, you can use what you have. So I'm going to do some of these fall leaves in here too. Now these I do bend a little bit because they are not going straight up in nature, so bend it just a little bit and stick it in. Actually, I'm going to put this one behind. Bend these, just make them look like they're growing like that. Stick them in around wherever you can get them in here. She's got 3 of these total. This is why I don't like doing these so much, because it hurts your hand. After 5 years at Hobby Lobby doing this, it's like I thought I was going to get nerve damage. So these old hands can only take so much more. And I just start poking them in. So you've got, and that one needs to bend, look like it's growing like that in nature. So far, this is what it's looking like. She's got some of these too. I'm not sure. It'll go okay because she's got lighter colored ribbon. She's got orange and stuff. It's not all black like in the picture. So I'm going to cut these, stick them in here. I'm going to probably try and figure out how to speed this up so you don't have to watch through all of this. Separate these out a little bit because they're all like a cluster here. Growing like that. Here's another one. Now I'm going to bend this one because I want it to be growing out the side, kind of like it's growing out the side a little bit. Now this thing here, I may hook that up underneath. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this stick right here, bend it down like that, and use this to hook around. Take off the price tag first. There is always a loop, so I'm going to hook it around that loop and poke that in, see, like that? Poke it in underneath. I have to go down a little bit farther than that. I don't want to be able to see it. And then move my berries like that. I don't know if you guys can see, but those look like little skulls. I know there's a real life plant that actually looks like that it's modeled after. So I'm going to, I also have this thing here I may put in here, but I'm going to put the bow on first, next. And it's a little tricky with all of these colors here. She doesn't make my life easy, put it that way. This is my girlfriend who brings me all these jobs to do. And I told her I don't have time anymore, but then she says, but you do for me, right? What part of me I don't have time do you not understand? This makes such a mess that I'm waiting to clean my floors after I'm done with this. So, all right, I'm going to take and layer these things together, undo them all, and hopefully they're all the same size, which she did good. She did buy all the same size. You want to make sure too your spools all have the same amount, otherwise you could end up with one that doesn't have the right amount. Now I'm not going to do the middle loop, I'm just going to do measure your loops about how you need it. Scrunch them together, twist them and turn them, always keeping the top layer up. So scrunch and turn, scrunch and turn, and look at it as an example on your arrangement to see if you're doing the loops big enough. And my middle loop, like I'm doing now, I've got one side, one middle, and it's going to be another side. Your middle one is going to be the biggest of them all. You want to stick out a little bit further than the rest. And I know I'm not keeping these straight. It's a little hard to do when you've got 4 layers of wide ribbon. So another one here. And my last loop. And then I will cut it. Actually, I may just leave those on there like that. So she's got a long one here. I'm going to cut that one. Tried to cut it. These are not my good fabric scissors. Okay, cut those off, but I'm going to leave in this one because there's not a whole lot left on there. I'm just going to use it as part of my tail. Get rid of those. And you need wires, and my wires at my flower shop, so hang on, guys. Now I've got my wires and I've made myself some tails on here with the ribbon that was left. These 2 spools, I have more, and my bow is still in my hand, and I'm going to wrap that wire around it really, really tight and put it right in the middle of that arrangement. And I twist it around. And then I will start fluffing this out to make it look nice and full, and undo these little pieces that are twisted around here as much as you can. Fluff it out. And there's no point in having all these layers of ribbon if you can't see them. So I'm undoing them. There's always the right side and the wrong side, so make sure you're undoing the right side. And I'm just separating these things and fluffing them out. I want it to be nice and full. Hopefully I'm getting this. Hopefully you can see it. Okay. Good enough. Now I'm going to decide on my top and my bottom, and I'm going to poke this ribbon wire right down in the middle. And voila. Oops, hang on. Come on, Charlie. Sorry guys, I had a cat stuck out in the garage. And now I'm going to cut my end pieces at a point. I fold them in half. Hi, Charlie. I have a stray kitty that moved in with me. Somebody moved and left him behind, him and his brother. So I'm going to go through, like I said, cut all these ends, fold them in half, cut them, that way you've got a little chevron end. And then if you need to trim any of these back, I may at the end, but right now I'm doing them like this. Shape them however you want. Oops, look, I missed one here. Yeah, am I talking to you, Charlie? He's such a sweet kitty. He's got the biggest head, I swear. Compared to all my cats, he's got a big head. But he's a sweetie. Okay. Now that I've got I think he's about to hop up here. You're going to meet Charlie. He's like, who are you talking to? He's wondering who I'm talking to. He thinks I'm talking to him. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's almost done. It's like there's not a whole lot of room to put anything else. But this skull goes right in the middle here. So, but it's going to get lost if I set it way down inside. So I may prop this up on something, glue it. Oh, and there's Charlie. He just hopped up here. All right. So, dropping my scissors. You're about to meet Charlie here. And there's Charlie. I love the way his tail curls. You're right in my way, buddy. And I don't want you to get burned by this hot glue gun, so let's go somewhere else. See that tail curl? He cracks me up. He's just going to sit right down there in front of the camera. He's like, am I on TV? I'm going to use one of the wire stems here. Find the middle, and if you have a good pair of pliers with a flat end like this will come in handy, giving you a flat surface to use on the skull. You want it to be kind of like a square or something to shape to the head of the skull to stay. Kind of like that. It may need to be curved in a little bit more. So anyways, just figure it out. The wire's poking out now. I'm going to glue this on here and then I may tape it just to make sure it stays. And I'm gonna, see, just like that. And I'm gonna let it dry and then I'll put it in. Okay, I wanted to show you how I did this skull head. This is the bottom of it. This is the skull. The bottom of it, I glued a piece of the wire that I cut off the flower stem really good, shaped it on here and let it dry completely, and then I bend this up like a staple, and this is what I'm going to use to poke down inside the middle of that bow here. Oh, and I got an audience up there. Okay folks, I don't know if you can see this now. I am calling that done. That is all completed, done. Very simple. You start out with your headstone, a little bit of greenery, whatever accents you're gonna have. Like that hand, that's pretty cool. Add on to these things and then do your just big fluffy bow and put the skull in the middle. And there you go. That would cost you probably 150 bucks in the store, especially with that pot. That pot alone is probably 50 bucks. So, but it's super easy, guys. Thanks for watching. Happy Halloween, happy fall, happy harvest, whatever. Have a good day.